everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm having a really good day. The sun has tried to shine a little bit, but it's still winter, so it sucks a little bit. But either way, it's, making the best of it. It's not gloomy, it's not snowing, so that's all I can honestly work with at this point. Y'all know how it is. If you live in a place where it snows, the day that it's not snowing is a good day. So I'm very happy with the fact that it's not snowing. So today I'm starting a new, not semi-series, like a very short series about the moving on process post-relationships. So I have been talking about a lot of different things about relationships, but I think I have not pinpointed on one of the biggest parts about relationships, and that's the moving on point once they have adjourned, and the various things that you may go through, the various feelings you may have, the rebounding, the everything that comes with that. So today we're going to start off with chapter 1 of that series, and that is moving on. And when I say moving on, I'm not saying that, you've gotten over them, you're dating someone else. Literally, I'm talking about the day after y'all broke up, moving on, what to do from this point on. So I have a couple of tips as per usual, and I hope this helps you with, regardless if the relationship was romantic or platonic. I feel like a lot of things, regardless of the relationship, can be utilized with these steps, because it's just, how it is. And they're not steps. No. They're just kind of like tips and tricks and stuff. But we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to try to be, concise and to the point, but that's a lie, and I can't do that. Yeah. First off, it's very important, do not compromise your needs or wants. So I'm going to speak from a romantic standpoint, but like I said, you can take this from a platonic standpoint. When it comes to moving on, let's say it's the day after you and your significant other / others have broken up. Your need, don't compromise it. So I want you to think about what is actually a need and what is a want. So you may feel like you need to interact with this person. You feel like you need to be in their presence, but what you actually want is that. For example, I need to drink water every day, but I want to drink Kool-Aid. That doesn't mean I need to drink Kool-Aid. Though there's water involved, it's not going to help me. So I need to drink water. I drink lots of water. But my point is, you may think that being in this person's presence, talking to them, having the whole closure talk, we're going to really talk about the closure talk later on because can be hella problematic. But you may feel like this is what you need to do, but in all honesty, you need to focus on what's going to help you. You may think that talking to them and texting them and FaceTiming them, going to lunch is what you need. It's not. It's a coping mechanism. It's tricking yourself into thinking that this relationship is mendable, that you can get back into the place you were when y'all had broken up. And that's not the case, because more than likely you're not. Just to be real with you. You see part of my hair, Sean? Yeah. To go right into the second, tip, take time to be yourself again. When it comes to romantic and platonic relationships, especially ones that have taken a lot of time to develop and y'all been together for X amount of years, you really need to get back into being a solo person, about being, not attached. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm not codependent. I don't, my individuality is not based on the relationships I'm with. That's good, fantastic. But I'm here to tell you that some of your relationships, some part of your life is dependent on the relationships you're with, and you're in. You can get mad at me, you can cuss me, you can comment, but regardless of how fudging independent you are, the relationships you are in become part of you. So you have to readjust the way that you interact with people, the way you interact with yourself. Like for me, whenever I get out of a long-term or a really strong connection with someone, I have to stop saying their name in my head, because usually it's something like I pick up a piece of paper, I'm like, oh my God, Todd would love that. Oh, David would love that. And I'm like, stop talking about them. They're not there anymore. You have to bear with yourself. Don't get upset by the fact that they are constantly on your mind. Because they will be. And even talking to some of my friends who came out of abusive relationships where it's like, this person needs to go to jail forever, if not die. they say that it takes some time to get them out of your head, to get the process of them being part of you out of their head. And you need to give yourself time to become an individual again. Because even regardless of what you're coupling or tropling or quadrupling, or how many people are involved in this situation, I don't know. How many people, it doesn't involve, like, it doesn't matter. You need to get back to being a singular person, which means you have to become your own friend again. I realized when I got out of like a serious relationship back, I can't even, I'm really bad with dates and stuff and it's horrible. But back in the day, I really had to remember that this person is not my emotional crutch anymore. So if I have a bad day, I'm not going to use them constantly as my sounding board. And though, there's some people that you get out of relationships with or getting out of situations with that are like, no, please come to me. I'm still here for you. My personal rule of thumb is to not immediately take them up on an offer. I'm not saying ghost them. Don't do that, especially for people that are like, that's like the father of my kid. That's my baby mama. That's my, we have a dog together. Whatever the situation is. I'm not telling you to ghost them, but I'm telling you to have a degree of separation that separates what your relationship was and what your relationship now is. Because in any point where those two begin to mix, then there's second thoughts. And then there's, well, why aren't we just together? If we're doing all the things we used to do as a relationship, why aren't we together? And then that's usually the place where people start getting vindictive. People start getting angry because they're like, just explain to me why we can't just be how we were. And that usually is either the turning point for some relationships where they're like, you know what? Yeah, like, why aren't we together? Or it's a coming to Jesus moment for someone that's like, well, the reason why I don't want to be with you has nothing to do with all of this, has everything to do with this. And that is when it starts getting hurtful, especially if you were the perpetrator or the reason why the thing broke up or said to be broken up. I don't know. So I really think you need to take some time to really reevaluate where you are as a person and how you want to interact with this person from now on, or if at all. I personally think I'm a firm believer in taking some time to rebrand yourself, and that that's going to be one of the little episodes. When I say rebrand yourself, I'm not saying that you're rebranding yourself to put yourself out there where you're like, all right, this time I'm going to be the pretty girl. No, like it's rebranding yourself because you pretty much, your brand was being a part of this unit, regardless of what it was. Now you have to reinsert yourself as an individual. And it's ridiculous, it's stupid, but society, I'm going to speak only on American society because I've yet to live extensively in other societies and other communities and cultures. But in American society, being in a relationship is like, people don't want to admit it, but it is a sign of power. It is a sign that you have mastered the art of interaction and that you have won the spoils of war. Among all the people who wanted your partner, you won them. And when you get out of that situation, you're going to notice that people are interacting with you differently. They're going to start to assume, oh, maybe your communication's not right. Oh, maybe you didn't do this. Did you try that? Did you try this? Did you try? Everyone has a lot to say about your relationship, but they weren't the ones to go through it. Because in a world like this, we're not focused on what happened in a relationship. We're focused on whether or not you're in a relationship. So if you're in it, fantastic. If you're out of one, who was at fault? Yeah. That's going to be about the rebranding yourself thing. Like, how are we going to interact with other people who knew us as the couple? Yeah. Especially for those of you who love to put stuff on social media, this is probably going to be the number one thing that comes back and bites you in the ass. I saw something on Facebook where somebody was like, when is the proper time to start posting shit, like pictures and stuff about you and your partner? And then someone's like, after wedding photographer brings you back the wedding video. I'm like, well, you know what? That keeps you from having to answer those weird questions. But I feel them on that. I feel. Okay, next one, revenge. Revenge. While I personally love the idea of revenge, I realize that revenge is a fleeting moment of insecurity. if I'm going to be 100%. There's going to be a moment where we can outline if revenge is like, you really did something to me that you're going to pay for it. And this can be a variety of reasons. I don't know, hell, I know people that try to seek out revenge for something as stupid as like them liking somebody else's status, like whatever. But when I'm talking about revenge, it's like you're in a very raw part of your life. Everything fudging hurts. You were like, I want to hurt someone, specifically the person who did this, as much as I'm hurting right now. And I want to tell you that is just a fleeting moment of insecurity because you feel like you're out of power. That something happened to me. I don't feel like this was a fair game. I want my part. Like, I want my time in court. Hopefully you don't end up in court with your revenge, but whatever. In most cases, revenge looks like, rebounding with someone hotter than the other person, getting a promotion, getting something new. But revenge is not necessarily like, I'm about to go kill this person. But I mean, sometimes it is. That's the unfortunate reality of this world. But in most cases, it's like, I'm going to better myself so they know what they're missing. But I'm going to be 100% with you. Most cases, they're not even paying attention to you. They don't care. And if they do care, if they do notice that you're bettering yourself, they're probably thinking, oh, they are trying to get my attention and I'm not going to pay attention to it. And then that hits you right in the self-esteem. And it besides the insecurity point, I think that when you're considering revenge of any kind, you are dwelling too much on this person. And so I know there's some people that would counter. They're like, no, I'm talking about the situation because I should not have been treated like that. Yeah, that's probably the case. But the subject of this situation is the person you're seeking revenge on. And revenge is sweet, but it is fleeting. And after you've done something, let's say you go the violent route. Let's pledge in the comments below that you will not go the violent route when you're trying to seek revenge. But let's say you do that. You've jeopardized not only someone else's situation, but your own. Because you felt cheated. You felt like you were hurt. And that is not indicative of a learning experience. That is really showing that you're willing to risk it all to get a small amount of endorphins just for it to be swept over with guilt, because that's what's going to happen. And regardless if it happens openly, with your friends, or when you're laying in bed at night, it's going to happen and you're going to be like, I shouldn't have did that. And you did. And that's what happened. So I don't recommend. There's like something on my computer and I keep like glancing at it. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to touch it, and then like a pop-up happens and it's like, what's up? Yeah, so if I keep looking down, it's like, have you ever seen that Vine of that dog that's like standing there and the guy's like, whoever's recording is looking at the dog's like, that's exactly how I feel. I'm looking right now. Okay, on to the next one. Time is your best friend. Time is not your enemy. And I have to take that word of advice myself, because my first thought whenever something ends, I'm like, my time has been wasted. I could have been with someone who was trying to make me a wife. I'm not changing my name though, because Diamond Jackson is a bop. Like, it's a bop of a name. But I really feel like my time was wasted. Especially, y'all, when you find out you were the rebound because of whatever. Listen to my podcast. I'll tell you more about it. But, listen, time is not your enemy. Time is, in fact, your friend. And when you start to embrace time as your friend, rather than something that was wasted, you'll begin to realize, with time, you will get over this. 100%. I'm being real with y'all right now. Because there was times, I asked my girlfriends, where I was like, I'm never going to get over this man. He's going to always be the man I want. And I don't even talk to the dude no more. And I don't even want to. Even with them trying to interact with me, I'm like, yeah. So you really need to look at time as an opportunity to better your emotional self. Without thinking, I'm bettering myself so that person will take me back. Because I'm going to be sappy with you right now. You are enough. You are more than enough for the right person. Like, the right person is going to find the magic in you every day. It's going to be something as stupid as like, oh, the way that your little nose whistles when you're sick. Or, I love that shirt that you wore since high school. Like, there's going to be someone that finds things about you endearing. And you won't have to explain why this is endearing to them. That's the point I'm trying to make. But I'm saying you are more than enough for the right person. You're going to be more than a lifetime worth of memories, love, and affection. So a person's going to be like, this is it. You won't have to sell yourself to the right person. There you go. That's what we're going to say. That is what we're going to call this. You don't have to sell yourself to the right person, because the right person is going to see that you're not a bargain. All right. I hear Derek out there making puns about buying stuff. You're not a bargain. You're a steal. You're just, it's great. It's great. You're going to be great. They're going to be great. Your relationship's going to be great. Mark my words. Damn it. Like, people are going to, when you are in the right relationships, people are going to be like, what? You're telling me that you're not taken right now? You're telling me that someone has not swooped in and made you, their significant other? All right, I'm taking you. I'm leaving right now. Everyone, this is mine now. There's fine. Like, you won't have to feel as though you are trying to compete for other people's attention. Like, it's gonna feel right. So in situations where it ends, if you ever feel like you are having to compete for another person's attention, or that you are not necessarily, I don't want you to think you have to be their world. All right, y'all? Because we all got lives. We got taxes to pay. There's a war going on. But you will become a part of someone's life. So when it comes to revenge and all that nonsense, and just don't worry about it. And finally, because I got off on a tangent trying to make y'all feel good, I think that was more like talking to myself. Oh, shut up. That was the whole thing about this. Like, I'm sitting here in my room talking to my computer. That's what this is. Anyway, whatever. Finally, I'm going to tell you, grief is not a linear process. It will come in waves. You're going to be like, the day that it ends, you're like, actually, I'm fine. This is great. I'm better. I'm going to go eat a Frappuccino. Why would you do that? I don't know. You're going to be fine. But then the next day, you might be fine. But then the next day, that's when it starts creeping in. You're going to be like, I miss them. I miss telling them stuff. I miss sending them memes. I miss calling them. And then there'll be a day when you break down. And you'll accept it. And then you'll wake up the next day and you're like, wow, that's all I needed was one cry? No. There are all the cries coming, and they're coming in waves. But then be kind to yourself. Because like I said, grieving is not a linear process. I wish it was. I wish there was like a manual, like, when my mom sat me down and told me about the period stuff, about what to expect. All of those things happened. And then she even gave me like a brief timeline. So, you're probably going to have your period up until you're in your whatever age. I forgot what age she told me. She was like, that's probably what's going to happen. And I'm like, okay, at least I know what to expect. But my parents can tell me, you know what? When you're grieving, you're going to have a good day. Then you're going to have a bad day. Let's be okay. No. You'll have an extra good day. And then no, they can't tell you that, because there's no way of knowing how the grieving process is going to go or how you're going to react to it. So really be kind to yourself during the grieving process. Tell yourself everything's going to be fine, because there is. You're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then go from there. So that's all I got for y'all regarding the moving on process. But like I said, this is going to be like a mini 5-episode spiel about the breakup process and what to expect and how to rebrand yourself and how to get back to being yourself. So expect that in the coming weeks. If you're not on my podcast, you totally should be, because Matt is now my co-host and we have been chuckling it up. Link in the description below. It's only $2 a month on Patreon, and it is worth the listen. It updates every other Friday. So not the next Friday. It should be up. Yes. We have had past episodes, because I started in October, so there are tons of episodes on there for you to listen to me just talking, me having guests, and now Matt talking. Matt has a lot of insight that I love, and he's really, we're bouncing off each other. It's fantastic. Either way, like, share, and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will have a new video for you next week.